Hey everyone, it's Mark the Tax Wit with your Tax Tip Tuesday, Stimulus Edition, Recovery Rebate, and all the problems because of that whole scenario. So you might have filed, let's say back in April or May. Maybe you hadn't gotten your first stimulus, which the first stimulus was sent $1,200 for each person, $500 for each child under 17. Back in April, May, around that time of 2020. That was the first stimulus. I know it's hard to believe it's that long ago. The second stimulus, also known as EIP2, was $600, and that was January, February 2021. And then there was the EIP3, which was the $1,400, which came, April, May of 2021. The only two that we're worried about right now are the first two, the $1,200 and the $600. I know there could be more than that depending on how many people are in your family, but I'm just going to use those numbers as an example. If you didn't get those original documents, the way to get them was to file your 2020 tax return and put on there something called the Recovery Rebate Credit, which if you didn't get the $1,200, well, you put it on there. Or if you didn't get the $600, you put it on there, and they were supposed to send you that. I warn all my clients, if you're claiming this Recovery Rebate Credit, it's going to take a few months because they had to have some guy look at your tax return and say, oh, they're claiming the credit. Well, let's go see if they got the money. So they had to verify to make sure that you weren't just saying, hey, let's see if I can get some extra money. Let's screw the government. You know, it's tempting, but unfortunately, they are wise to that, and so they're checking to see if everyone got that payment. Well, so after 3 or 4 months, I've got clients who filed in April and May and still have not gotten their refund because they were getting a little stimulus payment, a little bit of that recovery rebate. Now they got a letter, which in the end of August maybe, where it looked like this. And it was called a CP11 letter. And it basically said, this is where I love this. This is great because this is where I love my job. I get these calls. We found a miscalculation on your 2020 tax form 1040. Most clients stop reading right there. Like, a miscalculation. Let's call Mark, or let's call the tax wit. Let's call whoever did my taxes and see why they messed up my calculation. Tip number 1, we didn't mess up your taxes. No one messed up your taxes, but the IRS is basically saying at this point, you already got this money. Or we at least sent it to you and you either shredded it because they came either as a check, which a lot of people, the letter didn't say Department of the Treasury on the envelope, or they got a debit card, which looked like something that some scammer in Indonesia is sending you. Those things got destroyed by a lot of people. So, or there's some people got direct deposit and just never checked their bank account. Anyway, this letter here says you owe us $600 now because we think you got that money and you're $600 short on what you owed in your taxes. So that's what this letter is all about. That's the miscalculation. Now, the second letter you get, which Spanish on one side, English on the other, and basically it says we previously sent you a tax notice where we changed the amount recovered on the recovery rebate credit. And they're basically saying, hey, you already got this money or you weren't eligible for it. The only ones I know about that I am, because I verified, our software would not allow you the credit if you made too much money or you were too old or you didn't have you had a dependent that you weren't supposed to claim, whatever. That's more for paper returns, people who filed it on their own. But for software, the only one it really is, hey, you got your money. So what do you do in this situation? The only thing you can do is call the number and try to find out what happened and put a tracer. I called the IRS for a client and they said, fill out this form and send it in and we'll take care of it and see if we can reverse the issue. They need to put a tracer on the actual payment to make sure that you didn't put it into your bank account. So that's what's happening with the recovery rebate credit and the letters you're having. There was nothing done incorrectly with your tax return. It just might have been that you didn't realize you already got the payment, or you accidentally destroyed or threw out the check or the debit card. That's your Tax Tip Tuesday. See you next time. I'm Mark the Tax Wit.